Welcome to another episode of Demystifying Gay Porn. My name is Ike Grande, and if you watch gay porn, I've definitely helped you get off. And so has my guest, Derek Cline.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm well. I mean, we shot
to
it.
Help the people get off with this one.
We are in a different way, mentally, emotionally, hopefully. So we just shot a scene for Treasure Island, and before you walked, or actually when you walked in, I already knew I wanted to have you on the podcast. I just didn't want to be like, hey, by the way, you know, that's your first scene with this company. Come and do a podcast too. But I'm glad that it worked out this way, because you're sitting here and you're talking to me, and you've said some shit that I believe. And
we segue into the same topic.
Yeah,
it is like
introduce me and introduce people who know you but don't really know, who know Derek Cline but don't know Derek. Introduce me to Derek.
My parents separated when I was like 4, and my mom got remarried when I was like 7. So I've always had this like distant father figure that's kind of on the wavelength that we're on, talking about these important topics. But grew up in my mom's house with her husband. I have a sister. She's 5 years younger than me, and I have a brother now who's like 14 years younger than me. Growing up, though, it was like I didn't do too much. I was very into video games, played so many video games. I still have them all. I keep all of them because, you know, that's like one of those things. I don't know. How many years from now, someone's going to be like, oh, my God, you still have that? And it was like there was this weird time where, like, I feel like I hit a certain age and, like, the pressure changed. Like, I had a good relationship with her husband and, like, you know, we would wrestle. It was like, you know, it was like a decent stepfather situation.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, I hit a certain age and, like, I don't know, I guess the stress started setting in. I was, like, an honor student and always playing a sport. There was this point, there was, like, I don't know. I don't know what went on in their lives for this pressure to change. But it was like, I feel like so much of my childhood is like low-key blocked out. The best I could put it in like short terms is like go to school, do my grades, get my good grades because I had good grades, stayed enrolled in some kind of extracurricular sport, and some after school activity. And I, you know, eventually I realized this is just to stay out of the house, because I feel like a good portion of my childhood was like dealing with this emotionally volatile person that my mother was married to, that she couldn't leave for whatever reason, you know, that's how fucking life gets. And I was just like, now that I have a space, it's been 3 or 4 months, I look back at that time and it's just like, I wasn't even alive. Like, that's not me. Like that, I was so concerned with this guy. He'd come home from work and, you know, walk in the door and start bitching. It's like out of a movie. It's so generic when I think back on it.
That American dream?
It really was. It was a son, a daughter, a husband, a wife, but the dude would come home and argue about it. Mom would work too, because I mean, you know, that's the times the American dream wasn't the same in early 2000s as it was when it first came out.
Still for a couple of people too, but yeah, absolutely, I know what you mean.
Whatever it was that had this man so upset that he needed to come home and make sure that I had things done around the house that no one was going to do otherwise, because they weren't that important. But it was this weird power trip that he was on. I just feel like growing up, I was dealing with this man's power trip. And I am trying as hard as I can to segue into what, like, I blame the job that he worked, like the American dream, the system, the cycle. It was like, so he's talking about me, right?
Well, just, you know, because this is good, because I want to ask you then 2 things. Actually, 3 things revolving around this.
Help me.
Yeah. Were you out in high school? Were you out in the house?
Yeah.
Where this, okay.
I think I always grew up getting called gay. You know, everyone says that.
Yeah.
Okay, they were right. Fine, whatever. I think freshman year, though, is when I was like, okay, yeah. Like the one kid walked in the cooking class, and I was like, oh my God. So it was like, all right, fine. But I think I didn't actually like come out in the house until maybe it was freshman year. I think my mom was pregnant around the time I was like figuring it out, and she was like not doing well. And I think it was like a stress thing. That was what I was being told. She was under a lot of stress, and it was like affecting her. So I was like, let me not share this information and like add to her stress, which she actually like thanked me for. I was like, maybe I'm being crazy about that. So I think I came out maybe like freshman year-ish, and that I think that did have like an effect, if that's what another question you were gonna.
Well, I want to go from
like,
there. Well, you mentioned the American dream. You mentioned seeing your stepfather working 9 to 5, 10 to 6, however it is. Did that have an effect on going into what we would consider not a conventional job?
I think
the stress of a conventional job.
The things that my parents were bringing home, I think it just quickly made. When I was 16, like finishing high school, I was like, I can't make any decisions. These decisions that everyone else, all these other kids in school are making around me, because I don't agree with them. It's the lifestyle itself.
Wow, that's
flawed.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense that we're becoming an adult is accepting all of this like sacrifice essentially, but like you're not getting back a full life. You know?
Yeah. When did you said?
So like the decision was easy to make. It was like I went to college for a year, and then I think before even starting my OnlyFans, I booked a scene with Broke Straight Boys, or a week, I guess, because it was more than one scene. That's what I always do.
Yeah.
And
we'll get to them.
I think I like wrote my mom a letter.
Okay.
And I was just like, okay, I'm getting on a plane. Goodbye. I'm going to do porn.
What did she say?
It's just like, I think there wasn't really too much to be said. It was just like, oh, why? And it's just like, because I got to do something different. Whatever you guys are doing is not working for me. It's not going to work.
Okay, so it did have something. There was something with seeing people in high school and your parents and just everybody getting stuck in this rut, right? That
the influence that had would be that like realizing that it wasn't bringing anyone happiness.
Yeah.
It wasn't, you know?
You had mentioned before that you went to college. You wanted to work. You pretty much had it planned out.
Yeah, I went to school for game design, and I was like, okay, I play League of Legends. So I was like, let me get into game design. I like to make animations too, like the little stick figure ones, like the stick fights they made back. Oh my gosh, they like don't even make them anymore. If I made them now, no one would watch them because they literally don't get made anymore.
Yeah.
They were popular. I wanted to go to school for game design. I was an artist. I was a gamer, and I was like into the animating. I was going to make cartoons, games, like whatever. I wanted to create, and I wanted to do it on a computer. But it's like it's not what it is presented as, I guess. You know, when you get a job, like there's the dream, and then there's like working for someone else, and the way that, you know, you rack up this debt so you can get this job so that you can pay off the debt, and then that's like what your life is. And I mean, I guess that sounds pretty normal when I say it like that, but when it comes to my particular perspective on what life is, it's not as monotonous for sure.
Yeah.
For one thing.
It wasn't always like that, because
it's been like that for a short amount of time,
yes.
relatively, actually.
I think you're how old are you?
22.
22. I'm almost 20 years older than you are. My generation also, and I hate saying that, I hate separating it, because I get it, we all go through like waves of things and stuff, but you know, there's always a label, there's always
it's
a
another
way
box.
It is.
To put yourself into this it's another box.
And on top of that,
but like,
I'm a part of one, because there's always, there's the boomers, there's the Gen X and millennials.
I still
I'm like
can't get
right
it
in the
straight.
middle of it, right? Or Zillennials, I forgot what they call them, but I know there's a whole bunch of them. I just turned 41. My generation gets stuck in a, like, well, these people are still in power and these people are coming up and they don't want to do the same thing that these people that are in power are doing. And my generation's like, well, no one asked us, like we're just stuck in the middle. I did the same thing. I went to school. I drank the Kool-Aid. I went to school for 4 years in communications at the time, which was laughable because everybody was like, what are you going to do with that? Now you can't go anywhere without anybody editing,
Oh my gosh,
making
right?
videos. So it's pretty cool.
So that's the whole thing, though, is that the game has changed.
Yeah.
Your generation wasn't asking any questions because they still had like a decent deal. You could get a job and get a house.
Yes.
A house.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
And pay off the debt.
You know?
Now going to school, you can go, just like going to the hospital, you can go bankrupt.
Right. Oh my gosh, I just saw this video on TikTok. She's like, I got bit by a scorpion, but I'm not calling the ambulance. I'm going to do a Google search because that's just expensive. That's so crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like, you got bit by a scorpion. That would, I imagine, at a point, that was common knowledge, what to do when you got stung by a scorpion. But we don't worry about what to do when things happen anymore. We're so worried about this linear
But
way of being.
but whose fault is that?
The game has changed. Your generation, like, the deal is still cool. The deal has changed. You're still taking that same deal as it's changing, and that's not your fault or in your control. But like, that's the reason that like this younger generation, me, is like, I don't want to do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The deal is so,
It's a raw deal.
and the internet makes it like, there's so much information and it's available, like quickly available. People have. When you scroll through TikTok, how many videos you watch, and I'm all about conspiracy TikTok, so I've got so much information that, people, sorry to say it this way, like your generation, like when you were in your youth, like you weren't getting like
You're right.
this same overflow. It is kind of like an overflow of information though. There's like, you got to find that balance, screen time.
Because you can
another
absolutely
conversation.
screen time. Did you say
Screen time. But that's another
you
conversation.
can absolutely get lost in
Right.
how much.
But I think what happens is that we see how many people aren't doing these bullshit jobs. They're doing some bullshit for bullshit amounts of money. They're living glamorous lives. There's like those people that get paid to travel, and you're scrolling through your phone and you're seeing person after person after person, all different kinds, from different places, doing things to like at least not do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're still stuck in this, like, it's still a very hard journey to figure out like what your thing is going to be, but I think that's because we're running out of things to do, for one. We only have so many people doing so many jobs. The job is done when it's done. It's just like making more people that need the job done more. It's like
the information that you talk of on TikTok, and TikTok is a beast in itself that I have yet to tackle, because I have a problem with people who need a lot of attention. And a lot of times what I see on TikTok, I guess it's my main feed, but all I see is people
when
that
you
need too
first
much
get
attention.
onto a TikTok, these people are making no substance to the actual content. They might just be a pretty person that has been doing this attention seeking for so long that there's people that are giving it to them because they don't know any better either.
So
they just looking at them.
I have yet to tackle that. However,
once you break out of that the For You page, it's the algorithms and all that. I think that's what's interesting about TikTok, is that like once that algorithm figures it out, it's so different from the next person's TikTok. If you pick up someone else's phone and scroll through their TikTok, you're going to see completely different
Holy
stuff.
crap, okay.
If you scroll through my TikTok, you're going to see stuff you never would have saw unless you did some digging. Because like,
you're deep.
I'm
You're
looking
deep in
for
it.
certain kinds of things. Like
Okay.
most of the TikToks I've liked are things that I can like, so I can send it to some sleeping person and say, hey, this person says wake up too. This person said, I'm not crazy. You're crazy.
Yeah. No, I didn't have TikTok. What we had was, I was 26 around the time YouTube became what it was. And on YouTube was the Wild West, and you can find anything and everything. And I had, personally, in my personal life, I had made this documentary. And I guess it pushed enough buttons for people to not like it in any direction, like the right wing, left wing, however it was. I had to self-promote it. And I
Is it still up?
Yeah, I'll show it to you. My parents are Cuban, so it's a Cuban-American documentary. But it's a very sensitive issue
Mm-hmm.
because you have Cubans in Miami and Cubans in Florida who feel a certain way and Cubans who don't, predominantly in New Jersey. I mean, there's a lot of them here too. But I don't know if you ever noticed, but Cubans in Miami are predominantly Republicans, hardcore Republicans who follow like
I know that
Trump and stuff like that,
that
which
the
is
wings fly is
it's,
weird. Sometimes.
Yeah, it is a little crazy. So I made this documentary. It was unpromotable, so I had to go out and do it myself. And I remember saying, I will never ever not give people the benefit of the doubt when it comes to stories. There's two sides to every story, and I would watch documentaries, one a day at least, and it didn't matter where it was, and I got into conspiracy theory documentaries. And the thing I like about those is sometimes they make more sense than the original story or the story that they're pitching.
Oh my gosh.
And then on top of that, you have the power to make that decision of whether or not. It's just the ability or the person putting it out there for you to say, hey, this is what I'm saying.
Like to
You
actually
make
accept the
decision.
information and like apply it to like your way of thinking and way of life.
I stopped watching them because in 2014, 2015, it's almost like the conservative religious right got a hold of conspiracy theory. And it became Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior, and this and that, against the Illuminati and against all that. It just got really fucking crazy to the point where I was like,
the spirit, like the theories are there, but the way that the angle
exactly.
we're taking
It
is
used to
like
be.
not.
It used to be the Republicans and Democrats are eating babies. Now it's just the Democrats eating babies. So it makes me think, okay, well, when did this shift? And it did. There was definitely a shift. I saw it in a lot of them, and eventually that's where like QAnon came in, where it's like Trump is the Lord, the savior. He's going to save this country. And once it got to that, I was like, what? It got a little too one-sided for me. For me, conspiracy is the entire government is against you. You know what I mean? Don't do anything because the entire government, the FDA, everything that's been made is working against you, and you just have to figure out a way to make sure that it's not in your life.
For you somehow,
yeah, exactly. There's a couple of other questions, and we got to give people a little bit of what they want too. Right? We got to give them a little bit of porn. I want to find out. Right. Okay, so you were on the plane and you went to Georgia to shoot for Broke Straight Boys. So that was your first porn experience.
Yeah.
Okay, how was that? How was it?
It's like, I think I maybe worked with them 3, 4, 5 times total, which was like pretty decent. You leave like a $3,000 check.
That's always good. Good experience though.
It was fun. It was a little venture. At the time I was like really on, like I had just started smoking weed and it had like become part of my appetite. So I would like, they didn't let anyone smoke or drink or do anything for that matter. And so I would always like not eat, but that was fine because I was bottom most of the time anyway, right? But it was like a roll of the dice because it was like sometimes you get some cute guys and sometimes you'd be like, oh, he's not that cute, but he got a big dick. And then it was like such a like, you would see these people one time and like never come back, and it was like, I don't know, it was characters. It was if they had a reputation, their reputation was with Broke Straight Boys, because if they had worked with another studio, then their facade is lost, essentially. Oh shit, maybe I shouldn't speak so freely right now.
Don't worry.
But you know, it was like if you had a chance of knowing who this person was beforehand, it's because they were already on their site. Otherwise, it was just like a set of random people that they found. Like, I don't even know. It's surprising how many people, I guess, are applying to these websites still, because, I mean, you know?
I think it's interesting, I think it's interesting how one website can find a certain group of people, and that's like, what pool are they looking from? Because I'll tell you, every single porn company out there is looking for, like, you know, new stars and new people to bring in, and some of them just have this pool of guys that's very different from everybody else.
Yeah, I don't know anything about what's going on behind the scenes.
But
it was like a cute gig. It was like, aside from like the not having weed part, it was actually pretty cute.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm just being a bitch. It was pretty cute. It was funny because it was like there was this one big room and they had 6 like twin XL beds lined up in it.
Jeez. And
sometimes there'd be 7 guys. So I'd be like, who's sleeping on the couch? The couch is like fucking massive. And those beds were that size because no cuddling off camera. You need to
Really?
save that energy. Like nothing. Play video games, eat food, don't do anything else. Just film. But it was like you're in this house. It's like a big house, nice house. There was a hot tub, and it was like by the woods. I would like always go on runs because it was like Georgia.
So they took care of you, but
yeah,
they
you were
wanted
taken
you,
care
yeah.
of. They just it was strict, but it was like there wasn't anything unhealthy about it, you know. Except for me, that Viagra, but
Yeah, the cornerstone of the adult entertainment industry. Yeah. How linked they are.
So funny you call it cornerstone. It's triangle shape.
Is it? Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. So Broke Street Boys. What other companies have you worked with?
I feel like I've done like a scene for this one, like a scene. I did like maybe like 2 or 3 for Falcon. Black Gods, I think, was one. Bad Puppy, Raw Fuck Club, Champ. I think I'm missing like 2.
And then you have your OnlyFans page too.
Right.
Okay.
And Just Fans and a Pocket Stars and a Format
Which one?
Pocket Stars, Format
Pocket
Fans.
Stars,
Oh,
what's
you haven't
that?
heard of that one?
No.
Oh, I mean,
I hate that.
I like.
I hate when I haven't heard of something and I'm like, oh, but you're teaching.
I don't know
me
where
so.
I'm at with them.
Yeah.
Because
Is it
they
similar?
like messaged me to be a brand ambassador for them, which I was like, okay, I really don't know what I'm doing, but clearly they found something about me that they like, so maybe they'll help me profit a little more or something. But it was like they sent me a list of 10 questions. Said answer 1 question. We'll put a post on you for Twitter with the answer to this question, and I haven't really seen what else the offer is. It almost feels like the ambassadorship comes with like the media transfer for free because they'll do it if you pay for it. But it's like laid out just like OnlyFans. It's
Okay.
like based in the UK.
I think OnlyFans is too.
You know?
Yeah.
I thought so too. But yeah, it's laid out very similar. The way the buttons are and the way the posting is, it's very, very similar. I feel like the real reason I hooked up with them was because it was like, I'm not an OnlyFans bitch. I'm a pocket star. I'm a porn star. Like it was just like easier to say, honestly. But I'm not getting as much like, I don't know, attention from them as I expected. But maybe I just had the wrong idea. I don't know. I'm still using the website. Like I said, the uploading's good. It's just like OnlyFans. And if OnlyFans is gonna keep playing their little games, then I need to have something else. It's another OnlyFans website.
Okay,
That's
so-
all it is.
okay.
I mean, really.
So you
It's predominantly like straight women right now, I think.
really okay.
I think
How do
they're
you-
branching out because of the OnlyFans thing, though.
What? How long have you been in the industry?
I was 19 when I went to Broke Street Boys. 22, 3 years.
Okay.
Something like that.
How do you feel 3 years after?
I think next month would be 3 years. I think that first booking was in November. I don't know.
I think.
I've got a lot of attention,
Okay. I don't see why not.
but I just I don't know how to like. I'm not a businessman, you know. I don't have that money making mindset that people have nowadays to like do it the way they do it to make all the money they make. But it's funded me well enough to not have to work a job, which is like good enough for me because like, I mean, I feel like I've found peace. I feel like I've found some level of nirvana. I understand like I can not have money. I'll be okay.
That's incredible for 22.
Aurora, a musician, she's great. Hunger, all we ever had was hunger. All we ever get is power. Like all you have to do is feed yourself. Keep yourself alive.
Like
but we're worried about how many other things.
Yeah. In Europe, a lot of people, the mindset is work to live, not live to work. So it's very...
Yeah.
This country is very...
I agree with that. Yeah,
this country
that
is
was, like,
very
hard to
live
process,
to work.
but
Yeah, no,
live
I
to
know.
work,
but
yeah.
the idea...
you do some work to make sure you stay alive.
Like
that makes sense.
I don't know how...
This is the first time I heard that.
How do you feel about zombie films and stuff like that? And the only reason why I'm bringing it up is because because of this live to work idea. Zombie films that are American or American zombie films, they have such an important message, because if people are coming back by Dawn of the Dead, right? That one, George Romero.
Okay.
If people are coming back, that one's shot completely in a mall.
That's like an older one, isn't it?
Yeah, came out in 1980, and shot completely in a mall. And why were people coming back to the mall? It's because what they remember. Can you imagine how awful your life must be if, that's what you go back to?
Well, because I mean, it's the boxes. It's like, your home, your school, your job. Everything else is supposed to be terrifying. And I guess that was like the residue of these zombies' memories, is that the only things that they did that they thought was safe, that they thought was productive, that they thought was good for them. And I guess they end up going back there. I don't think I've ever watched that movie, but I've seen...
George Romero, a lot of them are very...
Like Dawn of the Dead I've heard of, sure.
George Romero was very good because every one of them was attached
comic,
to...
right?
No, he was
I feel like I saw
a director. And he's done other movies too, but he specifically, he's called the father of the modern zombie film. And his thing was, it always was related socio-politically to a movement or something happening in the country. So you take a zombie, which is a dead person or a shell of the person, and you're able to fill it with so much meaning. And a lot of the meaning was, by the time he was up to the last one that he was doing, Land of the Dead, I think in 2005, that was more about, like, there's a separation. There's people that are extremely poor and then people that have all the money. And everybody watches it and they think, oh wow, it's a zombie film, but it's more. It's about socio-political aspects of everyday life.
Are there not zombies in it?
No, yeah, there's zombies in it, but I feel like it was a way to... He utilized the zombie to get his message across, like by saying, I'm going to give you a movie, but I'm also going to educate you at the same time if you're willing to take it. Kind of like The Matrix. I mean, we're talking about The Matrix.
I have to go back and watch those.
Yeah,
even
definitely.
The Matrix I should go back and watch. I have to watch those too. I'm usually pretty good at catching this stuff. I think maybe The Walking Dead is probably the one zombie. Or World War Z. I don't know if I've caught these. I usually catch these messages in these movies.
World War Z is good, but I think the budget for that was the budget that all 5 of George Romero's zombie movies...
Like to combine.
Yeah.
So it was... Okay. So
yeah. He was like...
messages then.
Yeah, he was like, $30,000, let's make it, boom. Right. And the first one, the first one came out in 1968, and it had a black male lead who slapped a white woman on camera. And that was a big deal at the time.
Right.
So yeah, definitely give them a shot. And the only reason why I brought them up was because of the fact that we do tend to want to live to work in this country. Not want to.
We're told that we're supposed to.
Yeah, we're programmed that way.
Literally, it's programming.
I want to talk to you a little bit about also, you said you're a witch. You're a Wiccan. How would you like that?
I don't really like... I use that word because I think it's easy for people to either... It's a good filter. People hear the word witch and they go... Okay, stay over there then.
So you want people to stay?
Because if you actually have any inkling of truth in you, you know that... I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm just coming for Christianity by saying this, but it's like...
It's okay, go for it, please.
The word witch isn't like... It's like, of all the fantastic creatures out there, witch is a human. It's a person. I just think it's a way of, like... putting my perspective into place, like the way I look at the world, witches are all about nature, which is like live with the flow of the universe. They're not doing what the humans do because the humans do what they know how to do, but they're not sensing everything else around them. Maybe I'm just a Cancer sun with a Cancer rising and I just feel too much, but
you're sensitive.
Yeah. Not in the sense that, like, you're going to say something to me and it's going to make me cry. But
No,
like,
of course.
Empathy. I think empathy is probably the best word I could... Because I feel like...
You're an empath.
Yeah. Crystals are cool. They're pretty. I like them. I like they are all different. They're not like the same cut diamond. I feel like you go to a jewelry store and it's like, okay, but still, how many other people have this exact same ring somewhere else because it's a cut? I like the crystals, the colors, like it's psychological, but that's the thing. It's all psychology. It's a quick word to use, which it's like the aesthetic is cute. I like the aesthetic. I like the integration with nature. But I feel like it's all about like my psychology, my perspective. It's like, I say that because I could call myself a witch, and then I could go around trying to tell people to use crystals to do certain things, or to have people over and do seances and spells on them and stuff like that. But I think it's all a psychological trick, realistically. It's not a trick to say that it's bad, but a trick to say that it's a trick, it's a tip, it's a maneuver. A psychological maneuver to change the way you think or you behave, or to catch yourself doing bad habits, or to occupy your habits with better things.
So you're one with nature.
Nature, yeah. As best as I can be living in the city, I do need to go find a little nature spot somewhere that's within distance. But
how are you?
The thing about the topics, the concepts that get brought up in witchcraft, it's not things that you're going to hear in today's society. Tarot cards, the way that they put things, the words that they say, the sentences they use, the positive messages, that's a big thing. Just having positive messages in your life and in your day. People live in this like negative. It's a psychological thing, very powerful. It's the reason people stay sleeping. It's
when you say people stay asleep, we had this conversation off camera, but
right.
Just elaborate a little bit, and I'll
Should
jump
I say
into
it differently? Is that harsh?
No, I don't think so. I think that it's a little abrasive, but at the same time,
that's what we need.
I kind of feel the same way too, and
I don't the shit off somewhere.
Yeah, I'll say it if you want. But we can have a
I'll discuss it.
Yeah,
I'm not afraid of being abrasive.
Yeah.
I just don't want to.
No, please don't
mess anything up.
Well, no. Our conversation was regarding how the world, be it Earth, be it Gaia, be it what you call it, is trying to get rid of us because we're destructive as a people. We are utilizing very terribly and exploiting and destroying.
Right.
So if you are one with nature, if you feel a certain way, you feel like it's trying to get rid of us. It's trying to do its best. And that's why shit has gotten so real, weather-wise, in certain parts of the country that are experiencing so many different things. And viruses and stuff that are happening. And so, what we were talking about was the fact that this is a rough number, but 70 to 75% of the world will never wake up to the ideas of, wow, I should think of this a little more, or that a little more, or think, period.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
And then you'll have... Go on.
Should I explain
please.
What the sleep... It's like... You already explained it, but it's like... the brainwashing. It starts in school. You're trained. I just saw a TikTok on the other day, actually. School is this is how she said it. School is a response to the industrialization, that time. Because they had these factories that they needed to fill, the factory workers, but they were dealing with these agrarian kind of people that did their own thing. And so they had to teach them how to go to a place at a time for hours, not ask too many questions, and then do it again the next day. And that was what school was. It was to get you into that mindset from an early age that you're supposed to be somewhere, doing things a certain way, be a certain way. I call it PG. It's like a whole nother thing. But
PG as in parental guidance?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel like parental guidance is that. Because... Yeah.
Let me hold your hand.
Literally, though. It is, actually. That's a good way to put it. It is almost like having your hand held when you break out of that cycle and figure out like doing something else. Once you pick out, self-employment, I guess, could be a way to put it.
Well, yeah,
depending on the job.
That being said, I can't. If certain people were to wake up, imagine how scary it is to no longer have your hand being held.
Right.
And you look around, you're
I
like,
think that's
fuck,
what
I gotta
the
do this
real
alone.
thing is, though, is that it's like, it's a scary thing. It takes the bravery, it takes the gusto. But that's like probably one of the first things that we're instinctually supposed to have that is rooted up from us, because we are supposed to be like facing the forces, but instead we live in these weather controlled boxes where everything is brought to us and comfortable, and cozy and perfect at all times. Our produce, like everything,
Our
is
water,
like,
everything.
You know what I mean?
Is bottled, shipped, put in a store.
And I say cozy and perfect because it's like, I don't know, I guess I was segueing into a whole other topic. It's like the produce is fucked up too. It's like, no, let me not take us there. This is going to
That'll be for
dig
another.
in the wrong direction.
Yeah, don't worry,
We're
for
digging
another
a new hole from the side.
for another one. Let's talk a little bit about your tarot cards and tarot reading. How did you get into that?
I picked up Wicca. I think I really, really picked it up when I was in Philly in the middle of 2020, maybe just before that when I was still at my mom's apartment. That was when it was. I was in my mom's apartment, COVID quarantine time, trying to find something to do, and I was going down YouTube rabbit holes watching Harmony Nice and the Green Witch and like just these like tranquil videos of these people, these beautiful women, like just playing with nature. Like the Green Witch made this violet syrup. It was literally violet flowers boiled in water, and the thing was, you had to boil it just right, because if it was too hot it would burn, and if it wasn't hot enough then the color wouldn't come out, or the color could burn away. You add it was sugar, water, and violet, and then I have to try it. I wonder how much it actually tasted like violet. Right. But you would put lemon juice in it too, and it would change colors. It was like, it started out this kind of like bluish color, and then you would put the lemon drops in, and it would turn that bright, vibrant purple color.
Really?
And that really like, okay, this is chemistry. But I was like, let me not look at it that way. This is magic. And I think that's where it like really started. And so picking up tarot, I picked up that deck, my first tarot deck. They say you're supposed to have a friend buy them for you for them to like work, but we don't have those kinds of friends. So we bought our own. And I think really what I did was I just wanted to study them more so than to be like, I have a deck, now I can do readings. And so that's what I did. There was Mystic Mondays. There's an app, and it'll pick the card of the day for you. Today mine is Two of Swords, which is about indecision, which is interesting. But sitting here.
Indecision of the day, or indecision like...
The card tripped me up, the way that I'm given a card that seems to almost exist in one thought, but it's supposed to apply to the entire day. But it's like... they're always talking about the grand scheme, these tarot cards. These cards, I wanted to just kind of like one by one learn about them. And so I've actually learned quite a decent bit about them. You were telling me you saw my Instagram.
Yeah.
I kind of stopped because I wasn't feeling it anymore. But I would take this little picture on my altar, my witch altar, which has my representations for the 4 elements and all that.
It's red, right? I think, or...
It's, I have like a black IKEA dresser, and everything is just like on top of there. But it's tons of stuff on it. There's like the pentacle, the star inside the circle. There's like an incense burner with like holes in the point. That's like in the middle, and then I've got the red candle, the yellow candle, the green candle, the red candle, the blue candle, and the red candle for the elements. And there's just like things all over it. And then I had this little, it's like a mini easel for like a painting, but I put the card on it and it looks real cute. And I would like put my body behind it because people don't give a shit if there's sex involved. So
yeah,
I had to like make my viewers look at it somehow. And then I would go in and I would type about the card that I pulled, which like helped me learn, but I also like had to word it in a way that wasn't copy paste out of the Mystic Mondays description. So it was like, they're good for opening your perspective. They, like I said, the positive messages, some of them are telling you you're more capable than you think you are, than this world allows you to think you are. Some of them are telling you to like be careful, but they're probably telling you to be careful about common bad habits that a lot of people have that you know what I mean? It's all about self-reflection.
Do you know Adam Russo?
That sounds, oh yeah.
From California?
Yeah.
He, have you spoken to him about this at all? I don't know if you know him like that, but
I feel like we've been in the same room.
He's great. I did a podcast, 2 of them with him at this point. One before, pre-pandemic, and one during. And
I do want to film it.
Yeah, let me get that, please. Let me shoot that for you guys.
If you can set it up, because honestly, that's the only thing. Y'all, subscribe to my page so I can start traveling, so I can start filming with these other people on the other side of the country.
Yeah. Adam Russo is somebody definitely that he does YouTube channel tarot readings too. Not readings, but he'll do the cards and stuff. And it's like 3 hours every day. I'm like, damn, how do you do that? Like, that's a lot.
Like the video
I think he just
is 3 hours long?
Yeah, like he turns it on, maybe 2. But still, that's a lot.
Still.
It's literally him, and he'll just do the cards and read them out. And I'll send you the link.
Get deep. I mean, yeah. I picked up a tarot book recently. It said you can use the whole deck to do a reading. So.
Yeah, I'll send you his link because I think you'll like him. And you'll vibe with him. He's really, really cool.
I think he's aware of who I am. But
yeah, I'll ask him. Tarot or being an empath and being in this industry. What's that like? Like, do you walk into rooms and say, all right, not really feeling this today? Or like,
what rooms?
Sets?
No, the energy of a set usually doesn't disrupt me. I think it does come down to like the model, and this is clearly not helpful. But like, and I guess it's like, you can be in this industry and still be sleeping. Just because you've employed yourself doesn't mean you don't. Like, I don't know how to put this. You know what it is? I'm in this industry to enjoy people's bodies. And I think when you asked me that question, it made me think back on maybe scenes that I filmed where I like finished and I was like, that wasn't enjoyable as I thought it was going to be. But that's it. I can usually hold my energy and get down to what I need to do, like enjoy the person. Like, I'm the bottom, so I mean that's that too. I don't gotta get hard, but
but you do enjoy it. You do. You
started to say tarot, having this perspective and being in this industry, whatever you said, and it made me kind of like, there are still a good number of people that are in this industry that kind of like think on the wavelength, think about the things that we're thinking about. And I think that because as part of that PG thing, like sex is stifled and told like we're told it's a bad thing and that it's a scary thing and that we're not supposed to do it like at all. Or even that we're supposed to be monogamous. We're supposed to find one person. And even in some religions, you don't have sex with that person unless it's to procreate, which is like sex, masturbation even, to be told that masturbation is a sin. Like, that is your soul releasing. You need to, like, keep your juices flowing. Like, and then it's like, I think that's why there could be so many people in this industry that think this way, because they are looking for that, like, still gonna make money somehow, but if I can, like, enjoy this aspect and, like, make a buck, why not? It doesn't take long, and all it takes is, like, peel back your pride a little bit, because it's like, I saw what I'm naked on camera. I don't know. Why is that so weird to us nowadays? We were born naked. We're supposed to be naked. Like, and that's my thing, is that everything is so backwards. It's just backwards.
Well, we throw in religion. I mean, that'll set you back a couple hundred years.
Oh my God.
that Catholic guilt, if you were Catholic, and just a lot of shit that goes into it.
The guilt. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's what it all comes back to, is your psychology. It's like, there's all of these things that we're supposed to... We think all of these things that are enjoyable are wrong, and all of these things that are unenjoyable are good for us because it's productive. And yet, all that ever mattered was enjoying yourself.
And when do you find that out usually? Too late.
When it's too fucking late.
Yeah.
It's too fucking late. it took time to like accept this way of thinking, that this truth is the truth, because there's so many people that don't believe it or don't agree with it. But like when my brain always comes back to the same loop, this is wrong, this is not making me happy, this is not the way things are supposed to be, and you shouldn't like it either. I've really settled into this truth. When people say to me, well, what about when you're old? What about when I'm old? I'm worried about now. Like okay. I might not make it to when I'm old. Yeah. And that's the fear talking. That's fear talking.
Very well said. I was just about to ask what next, but why? You know, I know because right now, basically, not what next, why it's right now, and you just answered that, so I appreciate that.
I still want to. What were you?
Well,
asking?
I meant like where do you want to go next?
I do have an answer for that, because I do think that there is some level of looking forward, but the things that we're looking forward to are not. Mom says, what about when you're old? Because mom thinks that you're going to get a job and you're going to get a promotion, and that job's going to provide you with a stable income and insurance and all of those other things, which I think is so weird, because you get fired, all it's just gone. Like, what do you mean stable? Like, at least I'm not getting fired from OnlyFans. I could stop posting on OnlyFans and I'll still have this like bleed out of money before my money stops.
Not even old, just next.
Next, what's next? That's what it was. Well, I guess I don't quite have an answer. I kind of wait for the next to come to me, but you keep your arms open for whatever is next. Like this podcast, honestly. Like, this is what's next for me. This is my first podcast.
Cool. Yeah, cool.
I'm an artist. I like to sing. I like to dance. The plan was to have an OnlyFans after college, right? Did the college for a year. I was like, okay, too hot for this. To get an OnlyFans and to essentially have that fund the next things that I was supposed to be quick, really, but it didn't work out. It wasn't what I thought it was. Like you were saying before, these people that, realize it's a lot more work than they thought it was. It is. I don't put in that kind of work because I got my shit to do.
Yeah.
Got my own shit to do.
Yeah.
I guess.
You have to balance. It's a balance.
I can't sit in anyway. I was going to get like a supercomputer or something to play League on and stream League, and then like once I started getting comfortable streaming on Twitch, I would probably have like moved on to like chatterbait like things. Still kept the sex work going because I mean income is income, right? If I can do both of these things, have multiple images, multiple names, I'll do that. The plan was porn or OnlyFans, even maybe not even porn. It was porn. I did porn before I did OnlyFans, so it was porn. Game streaming, and then I think, what was it? Become a tattoo artist, which I should be doing now because those other things it was like I gave myself a year for each of these things to happen, which I'm realizing now is like not healthy for me. Like I had to drop those expectations to like not drive myself crazy now, feeling like I'm not being productive enough.
Because then you hasten it, like you make it really quick, and it doesn't.
I just gotta enjoy what I'm getting and wait for the next thing.
Because you can be in games and porn will come back and it'll be
exactly
bigger than ever.
And that's I think that's like another huge lesson is like we expect to live this one life. We expect to do this one thing and live this one life, but the most successful people out there have done how many different things? I would think, or at least the most interesting people.
And they fail at one, or they could fail at one and succeed in another one. And
it's the trying the different things, though. And I think that's when it goes back to the it's simply fear. It'll happen. I have to put it into the world. This is me manifesting. That's all.
Do you?
After
have
that,
you
it was to go back to school and get into game design and get a real formal education because I mean college is still giving you information. It's just like the way that they give it to you and the hours they expect you to put into to get into money. It's not,
I don't think it's healthy to go to college right after high school.
That too.
It's too much, and
you don't even know what's going on.
Yeah,
you got to figure out what's going on.
Because I know for a fact I was there for 4 years. That's why I had it set up like that. Go to school after you've done some other things. Yeah, I was there for 4 years, and I can probably remember 2. Because of the partying,
right?
I worked my way through college, so I wasn't reading and retaining those books the way I did.
Half asleep.
Yeah, it was eventually 10 years later that I would read those books again and be like, "This is what they said."
Information.
Very different.
Because I'm not sleep deprived
Yeah.
and stressed about not having enough nutrients
Yeah.
in my body because I bought those books last week.
It was literally like you had mentioned before, holding hands. It was literally like running through the halls, and once you get to the door, they let you go, and you're like, holy shit, like what do I do now?
Yeah.
And that's what it felt like. So I don't think that, I think college, you're absolutely right, but go back to it when you're not wasting
at least
money.
when you can like afford it,
Yeah.
you've done something else. Like
You want to go to college, as opposed to when they say you have to go to college.
Exactly.
I did not, and not for any reason, like, oh, he's just a porn star. Never.
I was just getting ready to say,
never
I'm a porn
crosses
star
my
with
mind.
a pretty face.
No, yeah.
22 years old. I'm
It's more.
not 22.
It's more for me. The knowledge that you have, or the wisdom that you have at 22, is very promising for me, and it should be for people who interact with you and come across you. I think that they should appreciate it, because you don't get that a lot of places. And I told you a couple of people had asked.
Thank you.
No problem. A couple of people have asked me to put you on the podcast, and I just didn't know, and I knew who you were. I didn't know enough. So it took a couple of times meeting, and then eventually just today having these conversations before we got on this, I was like, okay.
You said that you had looked at my Twitter and that like you had said, I try as hard as I can. Like the tarot, the Instagram on tarot, like I try to still get my personality, my brain out there, but porn stars are seen, not heard. But there are definitely a couple of fans. There are some names, there are some people that catch my little attempts at being substantial and recognize it.
You're great. You're great. And you're from
I'm
Jersey.
hard to talk to.
You're from Jersey, so I have such an affinity to that. For people to find Derek Cline, how do they do that? Where do they go? Put it all out there.
Derek Cline X, just one X on Instagram. 3 X's on Twitter. Derek Cline XXX. DerekCline XXX. Also on OnlyFans, just for fans, Pocket Stars, for my fans. I have a TikTok, but I don't promote it to this following because I'm trying to grab a different audience. But I do often think like how it's almost like I have a TikTok. Go look for it. Just go look for it. Okay. It's not gonna have the same name. You gotta go find it. Okay, I'm not gonna tell you what it is.
Well, there you go.
It was PG. My PG.
Derek, thank you very much. I appreciate you doing this.
Thank you.
I hope to do it again.
I'm so glad to have this conversation.
Yeah.
When people say they charge from being social, I think that they are one of those people that don't have to be alone, because I charge when I'm alone. I think that's like the way to charge. These conversations, though, I'm going to walk out of here and feel like I'm on another planet.
Good.
Just because someone agrees.
Yeah.
It's so far and few in between that like people actually understand what I'm saying and like then to agree with it and like bounce back with like, let's do it again.
Yeah, no, for real. All right, guys, Derek Cline, you know where to find him. IK Grande, Spotify, YouTube, all that fun stuff. And remember, if you watch gay porn, I've definitely helped you get off, and so has he.
Yeah.
Cheers.